Hey guys, it's Veda. This last weekend I entered a game making competition, a game jam, where you have 48 hours to create a game from scratch and publish it. While I've made a game in a week before, I've never done one in 2 days, so this was definitely a new and exciting experience for me. I learned a lot about time management and realized how much I take sleep for granted. I joined the Game Maker's Toolkit, or GMTK Game Jam 2020. It's the 4th year that it's been held, and it's hosted by Mark Brown, a YouTuber who runs the Game Maker's Toolkit channel. You should go check it out. It's got a lot of amazing insights into game design and what makes games fun. Every year there's a new theme for the GMTK Game Jam, which is only announced when the Game Jam starts, so part of the 48 hours is coming up with the idea. The jam started at 8 o'clock p.m. UK time last Friday, but where I live, it's at 1 o'clock, so I didn't have to start work in the nighttime. The theme? Out of control. The tricky part to this theme is that video game players love to feel in control. Many times if something happens that's completely out of their control, it can cause rage and not fun gameplay. Imagine if you were playing a platformer game and your character randomly jumped when you were underneath spikes. That's out of control, right? It would fit the theme. But it's not fun because you just died for no reason of your own, and that's not fair for the player. So I had to think of a game idea that was out of control, but at the same time fair and understandable. My idea was to have a character that you can control the movement for and which direction it aims, but it shoots constantly, you can't control that, and you have to avoid hitting things with it. While there were a few other games like that you can't control how you shoot, I still wanted to make it unique, so instead of just avoiding hitting things, you have to hit certain things. Since I didn't really like the idea of killing certain people and avoiding civilians like most shooter games, I decided I wanted to go with a different route. You had to deliver pies. You need to hit certain people with pies to deliver them, and you have to avoid hitting random bystanders because they would get hit with a pie to the face. Rated E for everyone, my dudes. Also, I decided I wanted to keep the game in art style 2.5D, because that's basically the only thing I've ever done in Unity. So day 1, Friday, was spent programming and designing. I didn't do a good job of taking videos of gameplay, so this also shows part of day 2 where I did art. Oops, I'm going to be using a lot of post-jam footage in this video, so you've been warned. I used Unity's built-in pathfinding system for the player's movement. Wherever you click, your player finds a path to it. I also scripted the little people to have patrol points you could type in for each individual one, so they'd use the pathfinding system to go to their next patrol point. This gave me some flexibility for the various levels I created, so the people could go in whatever sorts of patterns they wanted, provided I typed in enough coordinates. By the end of the day, I had a working project with a simple UI, as well as the next level and restart functionality. It was playable, and I got to refine the gameplay too. Day 2, Saturday, was a very busy day. I started off the morning by designing and creating some 3D assets for my game. I decided I wanted the player to be a pie-shooting robot because, why not? The hardest thing to create, believe it or not, was the little people, because I had to model them, rig their bones, and animate them, despite being little walking blobs. I had some issues with the exporting process, but eventually I got this little derpy walking animation. And the pie carrying variant. I also created a pie asset, which, to be honest, I'm not too proud of, but hey, it works. I created some simple textures for the ground and walls, just so that my game didn't look too cruddy and used default Unity materials. Although it wasn't much, I think it really helped the game come together. Next up, I replaced my prototype UI system with some stylized images of pies and pie splatters. In addition, I added little UI animations to add to the silly style of the game. Then I added the pie splatters every time a pie hits a wall. For the game jam, I wanted to create everything, absolutely everything, including audio assets for the game. It was a bit of a tall order for a first-time game jammer going solo, but I managed to make it work. I used my lovely Reaper software to edit my voice from sounding like this, yay, to this,
Yay!
By the way, this won the best yay of the year, just so you know. I also made a pie splat noise with my voice, a growling sound when you hit the wrong person, and victory and sad sounds using 100% realistic sounding trumpet. Most of that night was spent creating levels, and I got a total of 10 levels to try out, each with their own unique challenge. I tried to make each level different from the last, but I'm not sure if my difficulty curve was perfect. All I know is that I saved the hardest level for last. It's possible, and everyone I've watched play it has gotten it, but man, it's tough. The next morning, day 3, I created the music in about 20 minutes. I was a little rushed for time, and honestly, this is the least amount of time I think I've ever put into a video game soundtrack. Video game music is kind of my thing, so this derpy little soundtrack is a little embarrassing, but it gets the job done. I even got some compliments on it, so yay. After some packaging and creating a web page for it on itch.io, I was ready to publish and submit to the Game Jam. I was super proud of myself for getting it in, and already I'm getting some pretty nice feedback from all the nice people who did the jam. You can check out my game on itch.io, it's in the description below. So, lessons learned? Well, some things I've thought about from this is that one of the most important parts of game development is making the game fun. It's obvious, but oftentimes people seem to forget that. Fun is the absolute most important part of a game, not the art, not the music, not the story, but the gameplay. My art isn't fantastic, nor do I have an epic storyline or an immersive world, but I think my game idea is pretty fun, and that's what makes this game. It's not the greatest game ever made, and it's nowhere near the level of game design genius that other people have made, but game design is what I focused on the most, and I think it shows. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate your support. Leave a comment below for ideas, funny jokes, or critique. Like or dislike the video, and check out my games on itch.io. And remember guys, life's a game, have fun with it.